Story 100 Dresses 1 is about a new student, Wanda Petronsky, who was an outsider to an American school, who spoke with an accent, lived in a shabby house, and did not have friends. All the children in her class found her name the strange and the weirdest one because all of them had the easier names. Her classmate bullied her because she claimed that she had 100 dresses, albeit always being seen in the same blue faded dress. And the ones who mainly bullied her were two best friends, Peggy and Mary. Peggy was the most famous girl in the class, while anyone barely knew Wanda. Peggy and Mary used to wait for Wanda to bully her before school, even if they are getting late for their school. The truth about 100 dresses unveiled on the result day of drawing competition. The room was lined up with 100 dresses, each so beautiful. That day, the girl truly had the 100 dresses lined up, but in the classroom. And on the same day, Peggy and Mary realized their mistake and felt guilty about having her treated badly. So, if you're ready, we can begin the story reading. Today, Monday, Wanda Petrinsky was not in her seat, but nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. So the story opens up in the plot Monday, and as mentioned earlier, this story is about the girl whose name is Wanda Petrinsky, and she was not on her seat that day, and nobody noticed her that she wasn't present that day. The girls, Peggy and Madeline, who used to make fun of her, who used to bully her, did not notice that she wasn't present that day. Actually, Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. So, which was the room number? It was room number 13, and she used to sit in the seat which is next to the last seat, and it was in the last row. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. So the place where she used to sit, it was the corner, and there the rough boys, means the boys who were not academically sound or brilliant, used to sit over there. So you can imagine what kind of environment, what kind of ambience of that seat was. And that corner of the room where there was most scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. So here the author is explaining how did that corner of room look like. So it was the place where there was most scuffling of feet. Scuffling of feet means the noisy dragging movements of the feet on the ground. So the boys who used to sit over there, they used to make a lot of scuffling noise over there when somebody is sharing a joke or somebody is sharing something which is very funny, and it was the place where there was most of the mud and dirt on the floor was present. Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. So Wanda, where she used to sit, that corner, it was not because that she was rough and noisy like those boys. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. So she was very quiet and shy type of a girl, and she did not used to make a lot of talks with other children in the class. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud, and nobody in her class had ever heard that she had laughed aloud in the class. And sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. And if she gave smile to someone, it would be like a crooked sort of smile, which is a very short smile. So she was silent to the extent that nobody had ever seen her laugh. Nobody exactly why Wanda sat in that seat, unless it was because she came all the way from Walking Heights and her feet were usually caked with dry mud. But no one really thought much about Wanda Petrinsky once she sat in the corner of her room. So, since Wanda was nothing like those boys and no one ever understood why she sat there in that corner of the room, there was only guesses that it was because she came from Boggin Heights. Boggin Heights means it's a place which is muddy place, right? And her shoes were usually dirty with all the mud. So the phrase caked with mud means to be covered with a layer of something soft or wet that becomes thick and hard when it dries. So this is the meaning of to be caked with mud. And rest all the other children hardly noticed her in the classroom as she was always silent and all alone all the time. So the time when they thought about Wanda was outside of school hours at noon time when they were coming back to school or in the morning early before school began when groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to schoolyard. So when did they used to wait for her? When did they used to notice her? It was not in the classroom. It was only before or after the school hours when groups of kids used to wait for her, to mock her, to bully her, and some used to wait even at the cost of getting late for school. The next day, Tuesday, Wanda was not in school either, and nobody noticed her absence again. So now today is Tuesday when we are talking about this scene. And in this scene also, Wanda was not in the school, she was absent that day also, and nobody noticed that thing, that she was not present in the school. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who did not drag in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Wanda wasn't there. Peggy was the most popular girl in the school. She was pretty, she had many pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Wanda's absence was because Wanda had made them late to the school. They had waited and waited for Wanda to have some fun with her, and she just hadn't come. So the fact that Wanda was not present on Monday and Tuesday, nobody noticed that. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie noticed about her absence because they were waiting outside the school to make fun of her, but she didn't turn up. So the author is describing a little more about Peggy here. He said Peggy was the most popular girl in the class. She was the most pretty girl in the class who wore neat and tidy clothes, who had the curly hair, and whose Maddie was the closest friend. And she used to sit with the toppers of the class. They used to sit in the front, and whereas Wanda used to sit around the corner, which is the last seat in the last row next to the boys, nobody noticed there that there was no mud. Wanda hadn't been coming to the school. The girls only noticed when they waited outside the school to make fun of her. Wanda Petrinsky. Most of the children in room 13 did not have names like that. They had names easy to say, like Thomas, Smith, or Alan. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petrinsky was. So in Wanda Petronsky's class, her classmates did not seem to like her name because they found her name to be uneasy, and perhaps because they had American names and they were easy to be called out, and she was from Poland, an immigrant to America from Poland. So she had a strange name, and it was not easy for them to call out her name. Except that boy whose name was Willie Bounce, they found his name as funny name, but they were also few that his name was not as funny as the Petronsky's name was. Wanda did not have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She did not have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. So Wanda Petronsky did not have any friends in the class. She used to go to school alone and she used to come back alone. And she had always been seen wearing a faded blue dress which did not hang upright, means which did not fit properly, and it seems as if it was not hers, right? So this all shows that she belonged to a poor family who could not afford too many dresses. So there is a irony here. What kind of irony you can find? See, it is mentioned here a lot of people talked to her, but she did not have any friends. Right. Although so many people talked to her, she could not make any friends because those who were talking to her, they used to talk to her only to bully her, only to mock her. All right. So, because of the tale she told to her classmate that she had 100 dresses and all lined up in the closet, a unfamiliar name, they found it all amusing whatever she was saying. So when they used to watch little girls playing in the ground, it was at that time other students surrounded her and they started bullying her and mocking her. Wanda, Peggy would say in most courteous manner as though she were talking to Miss Mason. Wanda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge. Tell us how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? 100, Wanda would say. 100? Exclaimed all the little girls incredulously, and little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. Yeah, 100, all lined up, said Wanda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk? I bet, said Peggy. Yeah, all silk, all colors. Velvet too? Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses, Wanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. So here also you'll find an irony. When Peggy used to mock her or bully her, she used to talk in a most courteous manner, as if she is talking to Miss Mason. So she had no intention of hurting her. She used to, ask her about the number of dresses Wanda had, and Wanda used to reply very, very, in a humble manner, in a polite manner, and a respectful tone that she had 100 dresses all lined up. And then she used to interview more about her that whether they are of silk or they are of velvet, and she used to humbly reply every questions that yes she had. Then they would let her go, and then before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. So, after all this mocking and bullying, and they used to laugh out loud on the story which was told to them by this little girl, Wanda Petronsky, about her 100 dresses, how they are lined up in their closet, and all that. They were all astonished when Wanda Petronsky claimed that very humbly that she had 100 dresses which were all lined up in one closet, because they were not able to digest this all things, because she had always been seen wearing this one blue faded dress. And then they further interviewed her that how many shoes did she have, and then to this she replied that she had 60 pairs, and that also lined up in the closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike? Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. Peggy, who had thought of this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Finally, Wanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had finishing the walk to school alone. So Peggy was the girl who started all this, means bullying Wanda, because she could not stand the fact that she had 100 dresses and 60 pairs of footwears all lined up in her closet. So she started mocking her and bullying her about that thing. Why she had to speak lie about her dresses, because she had always been seen wearing that same blue dress. So Peggy started bullying her about that, and Peggy and Maddie, who were inseparable friends, would become the last ones to leave the school until Wanda became upset, and then she had to go back all alone in her dull eyes, and she started behaving in a strange. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies, and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, "Don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Wanda?" she would have been surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person, else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. For Maddie, this business of asking Wanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that she had was bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand me down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggins Heights or have a funny name. So Peggy, who used to mock Wanda by asking questions about dresses, hats, and all that every other day, Mary did not like the idea of making fun of the number of clothes and accessories Wanda possessed. Not because she cared about her, because she was poor herself. She wore the clothes that were given to her by others, by someone else. But she was not as poor as Wanda. She was thanking God because she did not live in Boggins Heights and did not even have a weird name. Sometimes, when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Mary felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. Not that she felt sorry for Wanda exactly, she would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy hadn't invented that dresses game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started on her next. She wasn't as poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky. So, as mentioned earlier, also that Mary did not feel very comfortable teasing Wanda. And the question is, what did she used to do when Wanda used to ask those questions to her? She would silently count the marbles in her hand, pretending to play with them. And how did she get to know about the very existence of Wanda? Just as because of that dress game which had been invented by Peggy, otherwise she would never known about the very existence of Wanda. And she used to feel uncomfortable. And why did she feel uncomfortable? Just because she cared about Wanda? No, she did not care about Wanda. She was worried that she could be the next one. So she was also thinking that she's not that senseless to say that she had 100 dresses, but she still wished that Peggy did not tease Wanda for her poor. Today, even though they had been late to the school, Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Wanda. She worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly. 8 times 8, let's see. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right out to the Peggy to say, "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy. So secretly, Maddie was happy that Wanda did not turn up and they did not make fun of her. And when they were in the class, she was doing her arithmetic problem. Absent-mindedly means she was distracting because she was thinking to talk to Peggy about that they should stop teasing Wanda about that. But she did not have a nerve, means she did not have guts to tell this thing on her face. So she thought to write a note to Peggy about this. Suddenly she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target for Peggy and the girls. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress that she had on, and Maddie would have to say it was one of the Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with new trimmings, so no one in room 30 would recognize it. So while Maddie was writing a note to Peggy, she shook at the imagination of her being a new target of Peggy. And she found herself in the garden and she was afraid that Maddie would ask her that where she had got this dress from, and which was actually Peggy's dress, which Maddie's mother got it transferred with new laces and ribbons so that no one of her classmates could identify that it was Peggy's dress. If only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop having fun with Wanda. Oh well, Mary ran her hand through her short blonde hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. What difference did it make? Slowly Mary tore into bits the note she had started. She was Peggy's best friend, and Peggy was the best liked girl in the whole room. Peggy could not possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. So, Maddie wished that Peggy would stop making fun of Wanda on her own, and suddenly she ran her hand through her hair as a gesture to drive all those bad thoughts away. And then she said to herself that Peggy is the most liked girl in the room, her best friend too, and she could not be wrong. So, in these kind of feelings, she tore and threw that note away because she was afraid of losing her friend Peggy. As for Wanda, she was just some girl who lived upon Boggins Height and stood alone in the schoolyard. She scarcely ever said anything to anybody. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about one of her dresses, pale blue with colored trimmings, and she remembered another that was brilliant, jungle green with a red sash. You would look like a Christmas tree in that, the girls had said in pretended admiration. Thinking about Wanda and her 100 dresses all lined up in the closet, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and coloring contest. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses, and for boys, of designing mortarboards. Probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. At least that's what everybody thought. She could copy a picture in a magazine or some film star's head so that you could almost tell who it was. Oh, Maddie was sure Peggy would win. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winners, and they would know. So while thinking about Wanda, Maddie began thinking about the drawing competition which their teachers had announced, wherein the teachers announced that the boys had to design the mortarboards and the girls had to design dresses. For Maddie, Peggy was the obvious winner because she could draw anything. She was the best artist in the room. She could copy exact pictures and recognizable portraits, and therefore Maddie was sure that Peggy would only win. But results were to be announced the next day, and they thought that they would get to know the next day. The next day it was drizzling. Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. Naturally, on a day like this, they didn't wait for Wanda Petronsky on the corner of Oliver Street, the street that far away under the railroad tracks and up the hill led to Boggins Heights. Anyway, they weren't taking chances on being late today because today was important. So the next day, when the results were to be announced, it was raining lightly, and thus the two best friends ran quickly to school without waiting for Wanda. Generally, they used to wait for her at Oliver Street that led to Boggins Height, the place where Wanda lived, but they didn't wait that day. Even if it was raining that day, they wouldn't have waited for her because the day was crucial as the results of drawing competitions were to be announced that day. Do you think Miss Mason will announce the winners today? Asked Peggy. So what did Peggy ask when they reached into the classes? She asked Maddie that whether she thought that Miss Mason would announce the winners today, and into its reply, "Oh, I hope so. The minute we get in," said Maddie, "of course she will win, Peg." So to the question which Peggy asked Maddie, she replied that yes, of course she would announce the result and you would win, Peg. She hoped so, and she said this thing to the Peg eagerly. The minute they entered the classroom, they stopped short and gasped. Gasp means catching one's breath with an open mouth. Look at the picture to better understand the meaning. So who entered the room? Maggie and Paddy. When they entered, they were shocked to see the classroom. Why? Let's find out. Because there were drawings all over the room, on every ledge and windowsill, dazzling colors and brilliant lavish design, all drawn on great sheets of wrapping paper. So when they entered, they were shocked to see the classroom because there were drawings all over the room, and they were on the ledge, they were on the windowsills, and they had dazzling colors. They were of brilliant colors. They had lavish designs on it, and these were drawn on a great sheets of wrapping paper. There must have been 100 of them, all lined up. These must be of drawings for the contest. They were. Everybody stopped and whistled or murmured admiringly. Looking at those drawings, everybody was awestruck in the classroom. They were thinking that almost 100 of them were there, and they all whistled and murmured admiringly about the drawings. As soon as the class had assembled, Miss Majan announced the winners. Jack Bagels had won for the boys, she said, and his design for an outboard motor was on exhibition in room number 12, along with the sketches by all the other boys. So once the class assembled in the classroom, Miss Majan announced the winners, wherein she mentioned that from the boys' side, Jack Bagels won the competition for his outboard motor, and his outboard motor design was given to room number 12 teacher for an exhibition over there, and there were all the other sketchers who participated in the competition. As for the girls, she said, although just 1 or 2 sketches were submitted by most. One girl and room 13 should be proud of her. This one girl actually drew 100 designs, all different and all beautiful. In the opinion of the judges, any one of the drawings is worthy of winning the prize. I am very happy to say that Wanda Petronsky is the winner of girls' medal. So after telling the result of the boys, the teacher started talking about the girls' submission. She mentioned that almost all the girls submitted 2 or 3 sketches of their dress design, but there was one girl, and room 13 should be proud of that girl because she submitted 100 designs and each was so beautiful, and the judges felt that any one out of them was worthy of gold medal, means all were worthy of winning a gold medal. So Miss Majan very proudly announced that the winner is Wanda Petronsky for that competition. Unfortunately, Wanda has been absent from school for some days and is not there to receive the applause that is due to her. Let's hope she'll be back tomorrow. Now class, you may file around the room quietly and look at her exquisite drawings. The children burst into applause, and even the boys were glad to have a chance to stomp on the floor, put their fingers in their mouths and whistle, though they were not interested in dresses. Look, Peg, whispered Maddie. There is that blue one she told us about. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, said Peggy, and there's that green one, boy, and I thought I could draw. And the teacher continued feeling sad and informed the student that Wanda had not been coming to the school for some days, and she wished that she would come to school tomorrow and had that applause which was due to her. And then she asked the students to move around the room quietly to look at her flawless drawings, which was so beautiful. And children burst into applause, means children feeling very, very excited and happy. They got the chance to stomp in the class, they got the chance to whistle. All the boys who were not interested in dresses did all those things for Wanda Petronsky. Peggy and Maddie, who were awestruck to see all those drawings talking to each other, that how beautiful these dresses are. And Peggy was wishing that she could also draw like Wanda Petronsky, and they realized the mistake of teasing that girl Wanda Petronsky about the 100 dresses, because these were the 100 dresses she used to talk about, all lined up, all beautiful, and they realized that they should not have done this thing with Wanda Petronsky. This is all about 100 dresses won, and now I wish you would do the post-reading activity through the link which is given in the description box below and lead me with your comments.